So I thought, with it being in the news, the Tea Party and the NAACP going at each other's throats over racism, that I would use this opportunity to talk about my personal views on racism. Now, I think that any type of bigotry is simply idiotic, pathetic, stupid, and horrible. But, see, racism can go either direction. The thing is, let me put this out there so that people know that I do have an equivalent. Um, because a lot of you hear of African Americans, they will say some of them will look for compensation of money or some other sort of thing because their ancestors were enslaved. My ancestors, the Lapers, over from Germany, were one of the first 9 families to settle in the Mohawk Valley of New York. Those 9 families were a colony. And one day, Native Americans attacked the colony. A lot of people died. My direct male ancestor did not, but his wife and children were kidnapped by the Native Americans. And he then spent the next decade of his life tracking them down before finally being able to rescue them. Not going to go into details, but they had been mistreated horribly during that decade. So, I know a lot of people who are at least part Native American. My best friend, he's actually at least 1/4 Cherokee. But you know what? I don't fault any Native Americans for that. I didn't know my ancestors. That did not happen to me. It happened over 100 years ago. Why would I hold a grudge? That does not make any sense. So, when an African American comes forward and says, "You owe me money because my ancestors were enslaved," that does not make any sense. You were not enslaved. It goes both ways. Now, I hate the KKK. I hate the Nazis. I hate them. Simply. Truly. But I also hate when African Americans are racist towards whites. See, I only make vids where the subject is at least slightly controversial. No one would argue if I made a vid talking about how racist the Nazis and the KKK are. Well, people will probably argue with this. It is hypocrisy to get upset when called a racial slur when you in fact use racial slurs. To threaten to sue if called the N-word, yet call white people cracker and all these other things, is hypocrisy. To use your race simply as an excuse is not right. If you commit a crime, you are not getting arrested because you're black. You're getting arrested because you committed a crime. If I disagree with Obama, it's not because I'm racist. It's because I disagree with Obama. You know, and racism is actually one of the things that helped Obama get into office. Jay Leno went into some of the ghettos of New York City, and he spoke to African Americans. And what he would do is he would go up and he would ask them, he would present a set of views, which were in fact McCain's views, and state that they were Obama's views, and ask who they were going to vote for. And they would all automatically say, Obama. Obama, all the way. Definitely Obama. I'm sure he didn't get that response all the time, but those are only the ones he showed in the footage, which in itself is probably a little bit racist that he edited it in such a way. But there you go. A lot of people did vote for Obama simply because he was black. And I'm sure a lot of women would have voted for Hillary because she was a woman. Really not a smart move by the Republicans with that candidate choice. What were they hoping for? Getting the senior citizens to vote for him? No. But I digress. So, my point is, racism works both ways. African American racists are just as bad as white racists. Exactly as bad. So, that's my opinion on that.